Hi everyone, and welcome to my first YouTube video, where I'll be unboxing and giving my first impressions on the brand new M1 MacBook Air. The M1 MacBook Air is the thinnest and lightest notebook made by Apple, featuring the brand new Apple M1 chip. I'm really excited to get this MacBook unboxed and put it to the test. I watched a lot of reviews before buying mine, and I can't wait to try this MacBook Air for the first time. So let's get started.
Sick of daydreaming, I just want the feeling of you in my bed.
The MacBook Air I bought from Apple is the 8-core CPU and 7-core GPU version. This was mainly because I already own a Windows PC powerful enough for graphic-intensive tasks like 3D rendering and that sort of stuff. I decided to go with the Space Gray MacBook Air with 16 gigs of RAM and 256 solid-state storage. I think 256 gigs is enough for my apps, and I didn't want to pay $180 extra for the 512 version. I also got free AirPods and a discount on my MacBook final price using the Apple Student discount.
I'm sick of daydreaming, I just want the feeling of you in my bed. I'm down at this waste time, right below your waistline, want you by my head. I'm doing all the space time, it's a long time, baby. You're always running in my mind. I'm sick of daydreaming, I just want the feeling of you in my bed. Can't spend time alone. Gave you my hoodie just so you can smell my cologne. Don't like all this distance, I want you close, I'm missing your existence. Fill my head with some clouds, baby. Fill my brain with some ecstasy. I'm sick of daydreaming, I just want the feeling of you in my bed. I'm down at this waste time, right below your waistline, want you by my head. I'm doing all this FaceTime, need some alone time, baby. You're always running in my mind. I'm sick of daydreaming, I just want the feeling of you in my bed. I know you're tired of waiting, but my friends say that we need some patience. We don't wanna wait no more, can't take breaks no more. I've needed company from you lately. Fill my head with some clouds, baby. Fill my brain with some ecstasy. I'm sick of daydreaming, I just want the feeling of you in my bed. I'm down at this waste time, right below your waistline, want you by my head.
Can somebody come and save me? I just wanna know. I wanna know.
I could run through the fire, I could conquer the night. If I can make it, if I try to draw the red light. I could run through the fire, I could conquer the night. If I can make it, if I try to draw the red.
I could run through the fire.
Maybe one of the things that surprised me the most is the fact that this MacBook Air is fanless. The thermal efficiency of this new Mac is pretty impressive, given the performance that the M1 chip can achieve. Even if this new MacBook Air keeps the same 13-inch design from previous years, it keeps looking good for me. I wish Apple someday releases a 14-inch MacBook Air with thinner bezels and upgrades the 720 webcam, which is pretty good if you compare it with most of Windows laptops out there. However, I feel like the 720 webcam is not good enough for a $1,000 machine. Since I've got the 256 solid-state storage, an external SSD is a must-have for my workflow. I already own two HDD of 1TB each, but since I'm going to edit my videos directly from these drives, I decided to get a second-gen SanDisk Extreme SSD with 1TB of storage. The new M1 MacBooks just got 2 ports compatible with Thunderbolt 4, which kind of sucks. However, I got this Anker Thunderbolt hub which features power delivery and 8 different ports that perfectly fit my needs as a CS student and a content creator. Let's talk about the M1 chip. Apple announced last year its new Apple Silicon architecture for the new generation of Macs, and I'm pretty impressed with the performance and power efficiency of this first gen. The M1 is a system on a chip that packs an 8-core CPU, 8-core GPU, and a 16-core neural engine, using the 5nm process. What makes this chip pretty impressive is that it combines 4 performance cores and 4 efficiency cores that work together to achieve excellent performance under demanding tasks, at a fraction of the power. As mentioned before, I've got the 7-core GPU version, and from the many reviews I read, it seems like the difference between the 8 and 7-core versions is insignificant. However, when compared to the previous generation MacBook Air, the leap in graphic performance is huge. So it's time to do the benchmark in order to prove if this M1 chip is really that powerful. So I'm going to run this Geekbench 5 benchmark, which is optimized for this M1 chip. So I'm running it right now and it's doing a lot of stuff. Right now it's applying some tasks like PDF rendering, text rendering, camera, and I'm pretty impressed by the speed, because when I run it on my Windows PC, it took a lot longer, like 3 minutes. Okay, so here are the results. We have 1707 and 7 in single core and 7219 on multi-core score, which is pretty impressive since my Windows PC does 995 on single core. Now let's go with the GPU. So we are using the Metal accelerator from the M1 chip with the 7-core GPU. Remember that it's the 7-core GPU version, so it's doing pretty fast. And here are the results. It's 18,372, which is pretty good for this machine, and I'm really pretty impressed by this. As mentioned before, these M1 chips are incredible since they offer great performance for such a low battery consumption. Actually, Apple stated that these machines can last up to 18 hours of Apple TV movie playback, which is pretty impressive for such a powerful device. I bought this MacBook Air for my foundation program, and I'm sure this will be my main device for most of the things I mainly do on my everyday workflow. I strongly recommend the M1 MacBook Air for students or professionals that need a machine that can handle intensive tasks and last for hours before needing a charge. For me, Apple made a good product, and its price point is pretty impressive for what it offers. And yes, there is the Dell XPS, but I think that for that price I'd rather go for the M1 MacBook Air, since I don't need all the power of that Intel i7 11th Gen processor. The efficiency of this M1 chip is just impressive. I'll be sharing my experience of using this MacBook soon. Subscribe to my channel and give a thumbs up to this video. Thank you for watching and see you next time.